is Opio John. Of course, you can chime into the conversation on www.kutv.co.ke or KUTV Kenya on Facebook, and also on the X platform at KUTV_Kenya. Now, in his State of the Nation address today, President William Ruto highlighted major achievements in agriculture, healthcare, and economy while unveiling an ambitious infrastructure plan. Addressing a joint sitting of Parliament, the President announced that 27 million Kenyans are now covered under the Social Health Authority (SHA). He further revealed that his administration plans dualing 2,500 kilometers over road and tarmac and an additional 28,000 kilometers over the next 10 years. Take a look.
In his State of the Nation address today, President William Ruto celebrated significant progress made in healthcare, economic reforms, and youth empowerment while outlining Kenya's roadmap for national transformation.
We restored fiscal discipline. We eliminated wasteful subsidies. We rationalized public expenditure. We strengthened revenue collection and placed our economy on a path of recovery and sustainability.
While addressing a joint sitting of the Assembly, President William Ruto reiterated that 27 million Kenyans are now enrolled under the Social Health Authority, a milestone he says is greater than that of previous NHIF scheme.
27 million Kenyans are now registered in SHA, more than triple the number ever reached by the former NHIF. This is a demonstration that leaving no one behind was and is not a slogan. It is a promise on course to fulfillment. Additionally, more than 10,000 health facilities across the country have signed in to serve under this new system. We deployed 107,000 community health promoters, the largest primary health workforce in our history, trained, equipped, and present in every ward in all our 47 counties. Their impact has been extraordinary.
On economic reforms, the President highlighted improvements in revenue collection, inflation control, and agricultural productivity. Through the Kenya Integrated Agricultural Management Information System, over 7.1 million farmers have been registered, while the distribution of 21 million subsidized fertilizer bags has boosted yields and enhanced food security.
We are endowed, ladies and gentlemen, honorable members, with arable land. Yet, we all know only 15% of Kenya can support rain-fed agriculture. And this limited area is what we have relied on to feed the entire nation. While 85% of Kenya does not receive sufficient rainfall, if we harvested and stored rainwater, we can bring vast arable lands in these arid and semi-arid regions into productive use. With the dams, we can transform our arid and semi-arid areas into hubs of agricultural production, even in the absence of rainfall.
Ruto also touched on youth empowerment, citing the Hustler Fund, which now reaches more than 7 million Kenyans, and the Nyota program designed to equip young people with the practical skills, industry exposure, and entrepreneurship opportunities.
Many young people do not lack ideas, they lack opportunity. That is why we launched Nyota, the National Youth Opportunities and Transformation Agenda. When the program is fully implemented, it will have placed 90,000 young people into work or enterprise, certified 20,000 into different skill areas, capitalized 110,000 businesses, and matched savings for 190,000 savers, while building capacity of 600,000 more to undertake government procurement under the ACBO program.
Yvonne Kemuma, KUTV.
And as the president fulfilled his constitutional obligation, his former deputy Rigathi Gachagua has intensified his door-to-door campaigns in Mbeere North, rallying support for Democratic Party candidate Newton Karish ahead of the upcoming by-election. Both Gachagua and the current deputy president Kutv Kindiki pitched camp in the volatile constituency, each seeking to sway voters in what has become a high-stakes political contest.
The volatile Mbeere North by-election is proving to be a key battleground, with the opposition and the government set to face off in a supremacy battle to settle the debate of who holds the key to vote-rich Mount Kenya region.
I don't want that kind of things. Hiyo ni ujinga, kwa sababu unaumiza mtu, kesho utafanya nini? Na shida sio hao watu unaona hapa kina Karishi, watu ya gita. Karishi ni mchezo wako nao. Anakuanga hivyo, unajua ni mwanamuziki. Anasema kunua gita. Tepo kunua gita. So ile ni komete, ile mambo yake, hatuna shida. Mwenye ameleta hiyo tabia mbaya, hata sio JB, hata sio Leni. Ni ule mkora alishindwa kumanage uongozi, kukaa vizuri na wakubwa na wadogo.
Barely a week to the much anticipated by-elections, the united opposition and the government are leaving nothing to chance, with both camp mounting a series of door-to-door campaign in Mbeere North in a bid to woo voters to cast their ballot in favor of their preferred candidate.
Tunahitaji mbunge ya upinzani kwa sababu mbunge wa serikali hawezi tetea kasi, ndio? Ndio. Umeona huyu mkoje anang'ang'ana peke yake, si ndio? Mkiongeza Karishi wakuwe wawili hapa Embu.
While campaigning for Democratic Party candidate Newton Karish, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua trashed the government for being insensitive to the plight of Kenyans, urging Mbeere North residents to back DP candidate to send a clear warning to the ruling regime.
Yeye ndiye one term. Na kazi nyingine alishindwa kufanya. Hasio kama sio mimi Ruto angechaguliwa. Wewe tumekupatia kiti ya naibu rais last minute. Wakati William Ruto alikuwa amefanya campaign, akafanya urafiki huko Mount Kenya. Watu wa Mount Kenya wakaamua wamchague kama rais. Lakini tukamwambia mmoja wetu sehemu hii akuwe running mate. Hatukusema Rigathi akuwe running mate. Wewe chama chetu cha UDA kiliketi kukataa. The party rejected you.
With hotly contested Mbeere North by-election, which has transformed the local contest into a high-stake battle that could redefine political dynamics in Mount Kenya region, with either side acceding to any iota of loss, will serve as a litmus test for either side to assert their dominance ahead of the 2027 general elections. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
And still in keeping with matters politics, opposition leaders have escalated their criticism of President William Ruto's administration, accusing the government of mismanaging the economy and using state machinery to influence the upcoming Magarini by-election.
Opposition leaders say the Magarini by-election reflects national frustration, accusing the Ruto administration of economic collapse, political intimidation and bribery. They claim government agencies are being misused to influence voters, urging residents to reject what they describe as a corrupt and coercive regime.
Magarini, munasemaje? Ati munasemaje? Na hiyo one term Wakenya wanataka kujua, mjue mkipigia huyu Harrison Kombe kura, mnapigia Ruto kura. Mkipigia Stanley Kenga kura, mnapiga kura ya kupeleka Ruto nyumbani.
On his part, Eugene Wamalwa accused the government of bribery, corruption and economic mismanagement.
Hawa jamaa wanakuja na pesa nyingi sana. Walipokuja hapo kutafuta kura zenu, miaka 3 iliyopita walisema bottom up, pesa mfukoni. Wakumwambia ni mfuko wa nani bwana? Hizo pesa zote Zakayo alipanda juu ya mti akapandisha ushuru. Ile bei ya mafuta ikatoka bottom ikaenda wapi? Ushuru ukatoka bottom ikaenda wapi? Hata nauli kutoka hapa kwenda Mareni kwenda Mombasa, nauli imepanda haijapanda. Tukapinga finance bill 2024 na majezi, lakini kuna wabunge walionunuliwa. Ninyi mkipeana nafasi kwa mbunge anayonunuliwa, vile walipandisha finance bill 2023, 2024, 2025, hata 2026 watafanya nini? Watapandisha.
Kalonzo accused President William Ruto of ruining the economy and warned investors that any deals involving sold state asset will be revoked in 2027.
Madharau si madharau. Kwa hivyo watu wa Kenya wako na sababu moja sana. Na ndio sisi jana na leo tukasema lazima Mungu atujalie tuje tuangalieni, tuzungumze, tuamue hata wakileta pesa ngapi. Kwanza mkule hizo pesa. Kwa sababu ni zenu zile wanachukua ushuru wote. Ndugu yangu Eugene anauliza Ruto ataweka pesa mfuko, lakini hakuwaeleza ni mfuko gani, kumbe ni mfuko yake mwenyewe.
Constituency ya Magarini wanapewa 202 million Kenya shillings kila mwaka. Pesa imefika hapa. Hiyo ndio pesa wameiba, wanakuja kufanya kampeni leo wawape 200, 300. Pesa manake ni zenu nyinyi mzile. Lakini ikifika kwa debe mchague nani?
Kwa hivyo mimi nataka kuambia iko tofauti ya kula na kukura, si ndio? Iko tofauti ya kula na kura, si ndio? Sasa hii ya kula si ya siku moja tu ama siku mbili, lakini ukipiga kura inaishi kwa miaka. Mimi nawaomba tafadhali, ikienda kufika next week on Thursday, tafadhali tujitokeze wote tupigie Stanley Karisa Kenya kura akuwe mbunge wetu.
The Magarini by-election intensified political divisions, with opposition leaders accusing the Ruto administration of corruption, bribery and economic mismanagement. Both camps are mobilizing voters, making the coastal contest a key indicator of national political sentiment ahead of the 2027 general elections. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
Now that story was produced by our own Lyndon Zilu and given live by senior correspondent Evans Auma. Elsewhere, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has called for prudent management of Kenya's national debt, warning against off-books borrowing that burdens taxpayers. Speaking at the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Kenya's 42nd annual seminar in Mombasa, Nyoro cited alleged illegal loans amounting to 175 billion shillings and questioned the 45 billion shilling Talanta Stadium financing. He urged the National Treasury and the Central Bank to maintain a single, transparent debt register, criticizing current fiscal and monetary policies, including misaligned exchange rates and interest rates, decisions which he says hinder economic transformation and weaken the export competitiveness. Nyoro emphasized the need for transparency and accountability in public finance.
Let us sit down and see how.
So when we talk about debt to GDP ratio, we must never massage the denominator. Because you can just take your calculator now, tell me 12.5 divided by 16.9, whether it is 64% as he presented. It is actually over 70% debt to GDP ratio. So it is important as Kenya, we be very factual with our data, so that when we report figures that has GDP in it, we don't massage GDP, either inflate it or whatever, to give us the right parameters that we need. Now, as we talk with you today, the legal debts, because there are others which I'll talk about, the legal debt is 12.5 trillion Kenya shillings. And therefore, in that span of less than 3 years, Kenya has borrowed 3.8 trillion Kenya shillings. And therefore, Kenya is borrowing 1.25 trillion Kenya shillings every year. And therefore, the money Kibaki borrowed in 10 years, we are borrowing every year. And therefore, every day, we are borrowing 3.5 billion shillings every day. So this conference will be here for a week. So by the time you go back to Nairobi, you can do the calculations.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki joined family and friends of the gospel fraternity in paying their last respects to renowned gospel singer Beatrice Mbugua, popularly known as Betty Bayo, during a funeral service at Numberi Gowns in Kiambu County. In his tribute, the DP pledged financial support for her children, noting that although he never met the late singer, he admired her popular hit 11th Hour. Mourners described Bayo as a gifted artist whose music deeply impacted many. Reports indicate that she passed away while undergoing treatment at the Kenyatta National Hospital, having suffered from acute leukemia and excessive bleeding.
Hali pema peponi. Ya pili, niseme ya kwamba Mungu ametupatia talanta mbalimbali. Huyu dada yetu alikuwa mwanamuziki na alikuwa mtu wa Mungu. Mimi sikuwa na bahati kukutana na yeye, sikumjua personally, lakini nilijua wimbo wake. Nasikia ameimba nyimbo mingi, lakini mimi nilikuwa najua wimbo moja, The 11th Hour. Na huyo wimbo Mungu alitumia ulimi wa dada yetu kubariki mioyo ya watu wengi, kuinua mioyo ya familia nyingi. Mimi askofu na waombolezaji wenzangu, naomba Mungu anisaidie ulimi wangu usikalete laana, bali ulete baraka na usaidie hata kama ni mtu mmoja.
Indeed, our condolences as well right here from Kutv. The deputy's song may have been 11th Hour, but for me right here, it was Anna Badilisha. We take our first break right here on the Thursday edition of the Kutv Prime Time News. Don't go too far. We'll be back with more. Miti miti, panda panda, miti miti. Our planet's future is in our hands. However, there is a threat to the brightness of this tomorrow. On EarthCheck, we share the challenges, the solutions, and the hope.
I would call this a very momentous day, a very critical day.
Every episode, every story, every step we take creates a ripple. Join me, the environmentalist Emmanuel Kutosi, on KUTV every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and be part of EarthCheck. Welcome.
A new era, a new people. This is the Law Matters Show. A program that brings you legal sensitization on your television.
My statement is written and just the call to the prosecution.
I think that this loss is a setback for Raila Odinga.
What policy recommendations were fronted by the candidate?
With diversity, we demystify important legal issues locally, regionally, and internationally.
What Tanzanians.
Join me, Elvin Onsongo, as I bring you more insights on law matters.
We are looking at social issues. What is the problem? Is it the economy? Is it...
Law Matters Show, creating awareness, advocacy, and enhancing lives.
welcome back to the Thursday edition now of the KUTV Prime Time News. Now, Kilifi Governor Gideon Mung'aro has issued a stern warning to the united opposition ahead of this week's Magarini by-election, insisting that ODM candidate Harrison Kombe is poised for victory. Speaking at Magarini Shopping Centre, Mung'aro framed the by-election as a crucial political test for himself, Senator Amason Kingi and Cabinet Secretary Ali Hassan Joho, saying a loss could weaken their influence heading into the 2027 general election. He accused the opposition candidate Stanley Kenga of the DCP party and others of disrespecting both himself and President William Ruto. ODM, in alliance with the UDA and Pamoja Africa Alliance, will face off against a united opposition coalition comprising of DCP, WPF and the Democratic Action Party in what is shaping up to be a high contest, octane contest.
Anamwambia msimibage. Hii swali la kina Kalonzo na Likijii wachane na wakana. Wakija wabeni Mung'aro alikuja akatafuta mwelekeo na yeye ndiye mtwe. Ndiye mtwe, wewe sosha. Anakuja sikia kupata amri kutoka. Ule mzee alipokuwa kwa serikali ni naibu wa rais. Wangapo walikuwa wanaangalia TV Likijii akiongea. Hii vijana hasa mitandao. Alikuwa anasema hii serikali ya Kenya ni ya nini? Ya share, si ndio? Kwa hivyo kijana alikuwa ana share hapo ndani.
Kule kuna zenu kwa unyenyekevu. Mkaniwezeshe kuendeleza ile miradi ambayo nilikuwa nimeianza.
Now, the UN Special Advisor on Genocide Prevention, Dr. Chaloka Beyani, has raised concerns over widespread allegations of war crimes committed in El Fasher, Sudan last month. He is set to meet the African Union counterpart tomorrow to discuss a coordinated response. The UN warns of a deteriorating humanitarian situation in North Darfur, where thousands of families displaced from El Fasher are enduring extremely harsh conditions.
The Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs warns of a dire humanitarian situation for thousands of families displaced from El Fasher in North Darfur state following recent violence. Across the locality of Tawala and surrounding areas, displaced people are living in extremely harsh conditions, without adequate food, clean water, shelter, or medical care. Humanitarian organizations are working with local partners to support the establishment of new camps to accommodate recent arrivals from El Fasher, adding to the more than 650,000 displaced people who have already sought refuge in Tawala.
This morning, we just had a meeting with the resident coordinator from Sudan, sharing information, but also wanting to see what our office can do. I think the main focus is on accountability, justice, and the kind of mechanisms that should be established, whether they're extraordinary chambers or whether it's transitional justice or whether it's hybrid courts. Sudanese civil society also called for justice.
Time to get sporty, and a lot of matters were happening, particularly with the Confederation of African Football, which has awarded, recent to this, President William Ruto CAF President's Outstanding Achievement Award 2025, recognizing his contribution to the growth and development of football within Kenya and across Africa. Other recipients include Tanzanian President Samia Suluhu Hassan and Uganda's Yoweri Kaguta Museveni for their efforts in advancing football in their respective countries. Morocco's Ashraf Hakimi was crowned CAF Men's Player of the Year after a stellar season with Paris Saint-Germain, while Chislane Chebak took home the Women's Player of the Year award. And And Junior Stars Under-17 coach William Muluya says the team's challenge in attack was the main factor behind their 1-1 draw against Somalia. Muluya made the remarks during a training session as the team sharpened its tactics ahead of tomorrow's match fixture against Rwanda. Minutes past the top of the hour, and we've come to the end of the Thursday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. Of course, a big thank you to you for keeping it KUTV through this moment and keeping me company in informing you. A big bravo to the whole team involved in the production of tonight's broadcast, led by my producer Yvonne Kemuma Monari. Now, Major Minor would want me to comment about the 8-0 situation, but hey, we all saw it and it's over. We can do better and we will. A lot will be happening, of course, tomorrow, and we'll be here to inform you. Hopefully, I meet you again tomorrow for the Friday edition of the KUTV Prime Time News. From me, Emmanuel Kutosi, and Opio John in the sign language interpretation. It's a good night to you, and see you on the other side.